Hi, my name is Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman and Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan. And today we're continuing our video series designed to educate and inform the public. So please subscribe to our channel. I want to talk a little bit about parenting time tips as the divorce starts or as a separation starts. One of the key things is that while you may be on the road and on the pathway to becoming a non-spouse with your current spouse, you're always going to be a parent. And you're not divorcing your kids. So there's got to be a way to effectively co-parent, even though the two of you may not get along. But it's very important with respect to the children that there be a certain unified front, that there not be fighting as it relates to them in order to smoothly transition them into their new life, where the parents are still the parents, but they don't do so at the same time. They may co-parent in tandem, but not coterminously. So how do we do that? Well, tip number one, forget about what the kids want. This is an arrangement between the parents. The kids are always going to want to go to the parent that has, the shiniest toy. They're going to gravitate toward the most fun. And one parent may run a police state, and one parent may run a household that's more like Disneyland. They're always going to gravitate to what's easy and fun. Disregard that. That's not how it works, okay? Well, you're not supposed to compete and buy the affection of your children. What you should really try to do is forget about what the children want. Keep the households fairly similar based on the way things were before, so that it won't be a question of what the 8-year-old decides, I want to go here instead of there. It won't be a question of that. Rather, it will be both households are running on the same basic schedule, where both households are prioritizing responsibilities and schoolwork, for example, and therefore what the children may or may not want becomes secondary to what is appropriate for them and what the schedule is. That's number one. Number two, and that kind of is part of number one, work together. You have a choice. You can work against each other like you've done throughout your marriage and like a lot of divorces work out to be, or as it relates to the co-parenting, you can work together. If you're working together and the court sees that it's effective, the court will likely allow you in its final judgment of custody to continue to work together. And that's the way it should be. A lot of times people ask, as they're looking for lawyers, what is your record? What's your one-loss record, like you're pitching Little League? That's not what this is. If it's done properly, there are no winners or there are no losers in this case either. That's not what it's about. What it's about is working on a schedule that makes sense. And both parties, rather than compete with each other, should be striving to work together in a cooperative nature. And if you do that, it's likely that the court will allow you to continue to do that in the form of some sort of joint arrangement that works appropriately for both. Remember one thing, and this is tip number 3. There will be times when the schedule and the arrangement may seem uneven to one parent, may seem inequitable or unfair, but always remember that we're looking at the big picture here. We're not looking at specifically what's going to go on in this week or that week. The court tends to paint with very broad strokes. So yes, it might seem unfair that last week she got the parenting time and this week it's her holiday week, so now she's getting 2 in a row. It may seem unfair. Appreciate, though, the total evenness of it in a broad picture. In a global picture, it's going to be fair. Why? Because, this particular year, the way it works out, the other parent may get a couple weeks in a row. But you know what? Next year, you're going to get a couple weeks in a row. It's just the way the calendars are set up. What may appear to be unfair or uneven in one particular year will probably even out the next year. So you know what? Don't get bogged down over that. Work together with the other parent to understand that there will be evenness in the schedule. So you don't have to worry about it. Remember, you're not competing against the other parent. The goal should be to try to work with the other parent so that you have a successful parenting time schedule. If you have any questions about that, reach out and we'll be glad to help you out.